Hi everyone, today's video I'm excited for. I have chosen a couple of brands that I think are dying and a couple of brands that I think are up and coming. Now I will use this little disclaimer. I think disclaimers are the most obnoxious and annoying things, but we do what we gotta do, right? This is obviously biased based on who I watch and follow and all of that on YouTube, and probably my own personal preferences as well. I kind of realized that when I was making my list. I wanted to make a list of 5 of each, but I got a list of 3 of each, and then I just kind of sat there and I couldn't think of anything else. Undoubtedly there is more, but I was like, well, let's just do 3 of each. That just works. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Also, I'm really enjoying this makeup look. Well, my eyes. Let's just be honest. Eyes are my favorite, and I think this is pretty cool. I'm happy with it. So, let's just get into it, and I think there's some common themes that we can discuss. 3 brands I think are dying. I could be wrong. But I think they're just they come out with new stuff and people don't care, or they talk about it and because I watch a lot of those will I buy it, or new makeup releases and stuff. I really like those videos. I think they're very entertaining, and a lot of them you just see people all right, go on, do your thing, but people don't seem very interested in it, and you don't see a lot of people reviewing it unless they're seen it. That's what I mean. And those 3 brands are Tarte, because Tarte's just been making neutral palettes and pretty much nothing else. The last thing, they did the Make Believe in Yourself palette and people loved it. And now they're just stuck on this Tartelette phase, and they just keep doing more and more neutral. And not that neutral's bad. I mean, obviously it's not my preference, but you can do cool neutrals that are a little bit different, but they're not. And they just did that Tartelette Juicy palette, which is this 25 pan palette of 4 shades just repeated over and over again, and it's pink. And if you don't, okay, so today we're not doing pink, but pink is my favorite eyeshadow color. I love pink eyeshadow. I wear pink and purple eyeshadow probably 3 or 4 times a week. It's my favorite. So I'm kind of that audience for a pink and purple shadow. Now I like a little more saturation and excitement, and it's just not exciting to me. So I think Tarte's on its way out. Also, in a brand that started right around the same time is Too Faced. I think nobody cares about Too Faced anymore because, well, we'll get into why. Because I think there's a similar thing. Too Faced is just they just don't know what they're doing. They come out with one, and I just watched a Beauty News episode, and I think they articulated it very well. They came out within the same month a collection called Lady Balls, a little bit vulgar, a little bit borderline, should you call something that? And depends on how prudy you are, you can make that decision. And then they came out with a teddy bear collection. So are you this borderline vulgar kind of brand, things that people are I don't know if we should do this? Or are you this cutesy teddy bear fruit unicorn brand? And I think both of those could have a place, but not in the same brand. They don't have a voice. And the last brand I think is probably also dying would be MAC. I remember when I've been on YouTube since 2013. Is that right? Yeah, 2013. I started in October of 2013. And I watched makeup YouTube for about a year or 2 before I started making my own videos. So I've been in the game, I guess you could say, for almost a decade. And I remember when MAC would come out with collections, and they came out with a collection, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times a year. I remember their summer collections were really big and their Christmas collections, and everyone had them and everyone was talking about it. And part of that is that YouTube as a community has grown so much. It really has. And there are people that because it's grown, not everybody has the same thing anymore. But it's just kind of where are you, MAC? And they just came out with that Sims collection, and I know a lot of people were excited by it because so many brands are monopolizing on this nostalgia feel, or this niche marketing. How many Disney collections have you seen? And when it comes to a Disney collection, like, I'm that audience. Like, I just did a video I don't know, last week about my collection of Disney makeup, and it's getting better. I'm getting better about purchasing. But, like, come on now. You know, that's a theme right now, and that's fine. But, like, the Sims collection was just a bunch of crap. And, like, nothing matched with the Sims, and it wasn't uninspired. And I think a common theme amongst these three brands is that they have no voice. Their voice is, let's just throw out crap to make money, instead of, let's think about what we want. What do our consumers want? What is our unique voice in this industry? And let's monopolize on that. Instead, it's just like, well, you know, this palette sold 2 years ago. Let's just re-release it. It'll be fine. Nobody will notice. We notice. Let me tell you, we notice. And I don't know. I just feel like there's no inspiration there. Now, I also think, and I think this is where my personal biases come in, because it's my preference, and I think because it's my preference, it ends up being a lot of the channels I watch preferences. Is whatever. I also think people are sick of supporting these giant brands. Like, when it's indie makeup is so much more accessible, people are more likely to buy from something that they think is inspired. And so I'll tell you my three brands that I think are up and coming. Kaleidos, however you say it. I'm gonna say Kaleidos because Angelica Nyqvist, that's not how you say it. Angelica, yeah, I think it's Nyqvist. It's not Nyquist. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. She's not watching this video. That's totally fine. But I totally lost. Oh, she says Kaleidos, and since she just had a collaboration with them, I'm gonna assume she knows how to say the name. So Kaleidos, you know, her collaboration went really well, and she's got like 97,000 subscribers at the time of filming this. I know she just made a video talking about how she mentioned in a video that she's really close to 100,000. So, like, she's a big channel, don't get me wrong, but she's not one of these channels like Raw Beauty Christie, where she's got over 1 million subscribers, or Manny MUA, or Jaclyn Hill, even though who Jaclyn Hill's a whole other story. But, you know, these longtime big hitters, Patrick Star, like, huge channels. She's got like trust me, it's 100,000 subscribers. That's great. But it's not like one of these huge channels. So the fact that she got to do a collab and it's sold out twice already, I think that's saying something. And I think people are really inspired by it. And I've seen a lot of people make videos about that palette that don't really talk about a lot of indie makeup. And a lot of people on their like brands I want to try this year videos, they mention Kaleidos. I think that's telling. Another one is Sydnie Grace. And again, I think a lot of this can be attributed to a palette, and that's the Mel Thompson palette. Because their quality, let me just asterisk this. I haven't tried any of these three brands. I haven't really been buying makeup. I would like to try all of them. I just haven't gotten around to it. Because instead of trying to buy brand new palettes and stuff, I'm trying to love what I have. That's really been my goal. But the Sydnie Grace Mel Thompson palette was huge. It was in so many people's yearly favorites. And the quality of Sydnie Grace, from what I have seen in 1 million different videos, is just so impeccable. Incredibly creamy, incredibly pigmented, and they have a lot of singles, and I feel like singles are kind of having a moment. I don't know. I don't think people are away from palettes. I think palettes are always going to be there, at least for the foreseeable future, but singles are definitely having a moment. And apparently her singles are just fabulous. Her palettes are fabulous. She's done a lot to be really inclusive. Like, I know she's got a neutral palette that she's released in a light skin tone and a dark, maybe also a medium, maybe 3. I can't remember if it's 3 or 2. But, you know, because a transition shade for me is not the same transition shade as someone for a very dark skin tone. So I think that's great. And the other one is Danessa Myricks. And I feel extremely confident about that because Danessa Myricks is about to go into Sephora. And it's a independently black-owned brand. Love both of those things, for sure. And I think she's just come out with some really cool stuff, some really innovative products, some of these like beautiful metallic holographic glitter eyeshadows, which I don't know how good they are because I've seen some conflicting results on that and I haven't tried them. But you know, she is coming up, and like the fact that she's about to go into Sephora, I think says that Sephora's seeing this brand's coming up too. And I think they're all three independently owned, but they all also have a very distinctive voice. They've kept that voice consistent throughout, and they've kept their formulation consistent, and they're not, well, you know, you could argue Kaleidos is having pretty consistent releases. I don't know, maybe once every 2 months or so. They're consistent in quality. When, like, how many times, especially over the most previous holiday season, how many times did you hear people say, well, you know, Too Faced's holiday collection quality is just crap. Everyone knows that. Well, if everyone knows that, then why aren't they fixing it? Like, that's not an excuse. You shouldn't just have makeup for the sake of having it. Have a reason for it. And I think a lot of indie brands, and these three are the ones that I feel like are the most up and coming, and there might be others. You know, Shroud Cosmetics, I think they're still pretty niche, but I could see them coming. Cleona Cosmetics, people are loving them, but I think people are loving them for a multi-chrome shadow, and neutrals are having such a moment, so those two things kind of are creating some cognitive dissonance there, where I don't know if as many people are going to be purchasing from Cleona, but I mean, they're having a hardcore moment. But they all have these voices that are very strong and very distinct, and they don't seem, and they might be, I mean, they're a business, you know, of course they're in it to make money. They want to make money, but they're not just trying to release every single thing to make more and more money. They're stopping, they're thinking about it. They're trying to say, is this necessary? Does this fit within our brand? And I think that's what people want now. So I could be wrong. You know what? I could be, you know, because Too Faced, I think like this week, said that they are releasing a teddy bear collection. Their last two releases have been lady balls and teddy bears. And, you know, everybody might buy it and think it's great, and it might become a huge palette. I just don't think so. Could be wrong. So this, again, it's my own biases for sure, but this is what I see happening in the makeup industry right now. And I'm really excited by it, honestly. I'm excited that people are really looking into these indie brands and trying them and not continually giving money to Estee Lauder and L'Oreal. And are those the two big ones? I don't even know. I really don't. Those might be the same ones. But, you know, there's like there's like two makeup companies that are like the head. And like, I know MAC and Smashbox are owned by the same people, and then Smashbox, that's another brand I think is dying. Because let me tell you, people used to love Smashbox. How often do you hear about Smashbox anymore? I don't think you do. See, I think there's a lot. But I think there's the same reasoning behind it. And it's interesting. And you know, I'm not sad about it. And I hope, I guess, this might not be true, but it's what I hope for, that people are not just buying every single thing that comes out anymore. I think there's been a big shift, and a lot of it's because people have had YouTube channels for longer than me, or for a while, and they realize, like, this is just not sustainable. And I don't just mean from an environmental standpoint, I mean from, like, just, like, a real life standpoint. Buying 7 eyeshadow palettes every month, you can't even, like, review them. You can't even try them all, like, significantly. If you bought 7 eyeshadow palettes in 1 month and you wore makeup every single day that month, you could wear each palette 4 times, approximately. Can you really give a thorough review? And what if you try an eyeshadow palette and you love it and you want to wear it a 5th day? Well, you're taking away a day from one of the other palettes. And I think people are getting overwhelmed by the amount that's releasing, so they're becoming smarter with their purchases. And why would you buy from a brand that has no idea what they're doing when you can buy from one of these creative brands that's going to add something unique to your collection instead of the 75th neutral palette. That's what I think. Am I wrong? Very potentially. Hopefully not. I hope not. But we'll see. So, that's what I have for you today. Brands that I think are dying. I ended up with like 4, didn't I? Well, brands that I think that are dying, brands that I think that are coming to the top, and we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what's happening. I know other people have done these kind of videos. I don't know that I've watched any recently. I can't remember any. So I'm not trying to pretend like I came up with this idea, because I did not. But I thought, I was like getting ready, putting on my makeup, and I was like, this is what I want to do today. And some days I don't know what I want to film, but my makeup is so good that I feel like I have to, and I just really am feeling this eyeshadow look. I like it. It makes me happy. All right. That's all I have for you today. I will see y'all real soon. Bye.